troublemaker extraordinaire.
Cory, hey, Cory, this is your time. We have a regular discussion, it's like normal.
I don't have anything to say.
Well, I just want, what about your opinion? That's front page news.
I don't have anything to say.
That's a quote there.
Yeah, that's news. Put that in the news, everybody, they won't believe that. Everybody's stuck.
That's one of the most
Well,
dominant
Cory,
things I've ever
at
said.
some point, I'd like to get your thoughts, and I don't know if you were, Ross asked me a question, I don't know the answer. Were you at the meeting last night?
9/12 meeting?
9/12 meeting.
I was.
Did they talk about the ordinance that 12 dash?
Oh, they did. And they talked. And they talked. And they talked. And when it came to doing something about it,
They ain't doing nothing.
nobody raised their hand. Talbot says, listen, there's a way to fight this, and I can show you how to fight. And but I don't have the time to lead it, so somebody else have to lead it, and there were crickets.
What
And
is
then
who is
they-
responsible for this ordinance they just had in Lexington County that they voted down, I believe, saying they were trying to pass an ordinance where if you had a cat, you had to keep it on your property.
Good luck with that.
But
They come by my house, I was looking at TV, and all of a sudden, there's my cat. She's sitting out in the yard where she usually sits, in my yard. She's about 20 years old, just sitting there. And they come by and take a film of her and use her on TV without my permission. To promote something that's the most foolish thing I ever heard of in my life. If you ever had a cat, you ever tried to keep him in your yard? You can't do it.
But the ordinance that they're talking
They
about.
voted it down, I believe.
Controlling cats,
This-
you have a rent problem.
I'll tell you the thing though, that I think I made some people mad last night, and I'm glad. The whole problem is that if they pass it, I asked the group, I said, what are you gonna do if they pass it? And it was crickets again. And I said, well, that's the problem. Because the truth is, somebody says, well, we'll just vote them out. And I said, well, what are you gonna do, vote somebody else in? And what are they gonna do about it? How many times have you seen politicians actually repeal things? Well, never.
That should be
Okay.
the primary job.
So then what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I stood up and I said, every damn one in this room is gonna abide by it. And that's the problem. It's because if they pass it,
Lexington County Council.
if they pass it, it doesn't matter if it's against God's law, if it's against natural law or not. We have been so indoctrinated into the believing that we're a nation of laws. Never mind what the laws are and if they're right or wrong. If they're passed and they're on the books, then you must follow.
That's right.
And you don't have to create havoc in not following it. Just don't follow
Hell no, we won't mow.
it. Right.
Well, Cory, I was talking to Kristen Hook earlier about this, and she had
I'm
an
going
idea.
with 13-inch grass this year.
Oh, she had an idea about maybe having an
Stay off that
attorney
grass.
pursue this. Kristen,
About what?
tell Cory your idea.
I'm growing grass.
Cory, we wanted
I would
that
think
zoning.
that first of all, you need, get as large a group as you can to go and speak to county council, but also perhaps either get someone who would do it because they feel strongly about it and just do it gratis. But an attorney who can basically, excuse me, point out the property right laws, etc., and how this violates most people's notion of.
But so
Privacy.
the problem with
And
that.
they didn't pass a cat, but they want to regulate grass and they want to regulate
That's my
outbuildings.
point was, what, don't they have anything better to do?
The only problem with that is we have already conceded that we don't own our own property by allowing them to tax it and take it if we don't pay the tax.
Good.
That is a concession.
But Cory, the bottom line is, we already have the laws on the book. We have zoning laws, okay, from the standpoint, that covers most of it. And most of the houses that are abandoned are people who have lost their houses through foreclosure or whatnot.
Again,
although
with
it's
the
such
reason.
bad repair. that they
Again, with
can't
the
repair.
reason. These people don't use reason.
I understand that.
They want to enlarge our liberty by making Lexington County a better place to live by regulating what you can and can't do with your
Is that
property.
called socialism?
I
But
believe
it's
so.
the antithesis of enlarging your liberty.
Hang on to that hot dog cart.
So Cory, you talk about crickets, that kind of surprises me, because you usually have a pretty active group down there.
But no, I mean, there were a couple people that said, well, I can help, I just can't lead it, lead the effort. you know, I don't have the time to lead the effort. I'll help if I can, but there's a lot of people that want to sit around and complain, but when it really comes to sticking your neck out, nobody wants to do it.
Well, if I remember, the hearing would be sometime in March, is what I was.
The hearing will be whenever they come up with it and think that they can squeeze it in without us knowing about it.
Well, what they said on video was, they were planning on having it in late February or sometime early March.
Well, Ron, what's your perspective? I think Kristen's idea about at least us, we could go down there, if we get notified, we can be there.
You'd be surprised what a large group of people can do to change votes on.
The elected
You would know
people for
that.
it.
I think with this ordinance, what's gonna happen is you're just gonna lose your equal protection rights under the law. Because what they're doing is they're targeting certain areas. They put a map online and they've got it all, little green spots here and there of where they want to regulate and put this ordinance into effect. And it doesn't encompass the whole county.
There's an argument there that that's arbitrary and capricious enforcement of the law if they try something like that. I mean, there are all kinds of issues here, it seems to me, that they are setting themselves up for. But it's gonna take somebody to elaborate that.
You just said it much better than I could.
Is that called?
David Jackson, I'd like your input on this. Ron heard this when we were down there, and I think Cory heard this. Is one of the things they talked about, I heard an argument, and I had one council member get really mad at me, I won't mention his name, but they said, well, I just voted for this so that we could bring it up for public hearing. So why would you, and three people, I give them kudos, three of them said, no, we don't think this is right, we vote no. So why would you vote yes just to bring it up for a public hearing? I don't understand that argument.
Well, has the person that brought it up been talked to by groups such as this and or other groups that feel strongly about property rights?
Brad Matthews, District 7.
I'm leaving here and everybody should call him, email him.
I called and left him a message, I never got a return call, but she's not my representative.
Invite him to come to this group.
That's what started the whole problem, is his constituents, 50 of them called him complaining about people's property.
See,
No kidding.
public hearing, but I don't understand that argument.
Well, I think that one person calling their own representative has a lot more influence than a group of people going to a county council meeting or a group of people calling a particular council meeting that's not their representative. Because I don't think I can ever remember somebody saying, wow, we had a big group of people there, I'm going to change my vote. But I have heard people say, yeah, I had a bunch of people in my district call me. And we have enough people that we have enough in each district that, I mean, and with county council, it only takes 3 or 4 calls and they get worried.
I asked and didn't get an answer. Why don't you try to make this ordinance for District 7 only?
Yeah, they can't do that.
I don't think it's enough to call them.
Okay.
These people live and work in the community. If you see them out, go up to them and tell them.
March.
I mean, don't be rude, don't be disrespectful, but make sure that they know. Make sure that they feel uncomfortable being out and about around their constituency when their constituents, they don't want their property rights violated.
Exactly.
And the other thing too is we complained about this, but I shook hands with the 3 who voted against it because I think they did the right thing. They should be
They were
rewarded.
posturing.
Maybe so, I
I mean, it's just when it comes, they've got this game figured out. That's the other thing. It's a rigged game. I mean, that's why you can only have public comment on second reading. Is because they can control and corral things the way they want to make it work.
Well,
So the only way to combat it is to make their lives really uncomfortable.
one of the things I'll say good about our city of Cayce is that there's the option for public comment on anything on the agenda. So you can sign up to speak on anything on the agenda. And I don't
Totally.
Dave, is there any reason why the county can't do that?
Yeah, because then people would talk to them.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, let me switch gears briefly.